third final and rubber game of this very exciting series between the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. Before we talk about this ball game, here's some news from St. Louis. At the end of one inning, in an early game being played there, the Cardinals are trying to hand the Mets their 6th loss in a row. And at the end of one inning, the score is St. Louis 5, New York nothing, which means that if that score continues, the Cubs could be in first place at the end of the day's play here. Of course, it will require a victory over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies can cut their margin down to 3 games if they win. And listen to this. Dick Ruthven, who's pitching for the Cubs, has a lifetime record of only 1-5 against the Philadelphia Phillies. On the other hand, Steve Carlton, pitching for the Phillies, has scored more victories against the Cubs than he has any other team in the National League. His record against Chicago, he has won 41 while losing only 18. Now, if there was such a thing as a farm sheet, you'd go running out right now and trying to find somebody that would take your bet, because Carlton and the Phillies would be a prohibitive favorite. But we had an example yesterday afternoon, how unpredictable this game of baseball is. When the Cubs, one pitch away from a brilliant one-hit, 1-0 shutout, wound up losing 2-1 in 12 innings. The umpires are being introduced. The Phillies lead the Cubs over the year's play. But every game, with the exception of the Q wipeouts, have been hotly contested, as were the first 2 games in this series. The Cubs winning 3-2 in the first game, a game that most people thought the Phillies should have won, and then the Phillies winning 2-1 yesterday in a game which many people thought the Chicago Cubs should have won. So I guess the real equity of this thing is that the series should be going into a rubber game, and that's exactly what is happening here today. A lot of youngsters on hand. We're going to have another crowd of about 30,000. It's getting so there's seldom more room than for 30,000 paid here, because with freebies and with guests of the management, the other day we had a disparity of 5,500 people between what was paid and what were in the ballpark. And that was because of the straight-A student day. Today, a lot of youngsters are here, and I'm sure that they're probably guests of the management. At any rate, what really counts is how many people are here, and there'll be well over 35,000 again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to enjoy our national anthem. For today's game. You've heard of that guy before, haven't you? Samuel at second base. Gross at left field. Hayes in right field. Schmidt at third base. Matusik at first. Virgil the catcher. Maddox in center. De Jesus, the shortstop. And Steve Carlton, who's beaten the Cubs 41 times during his lifetime. For the Cubs, Cotto in center field. Sandberg at second base. Matthews in left field. Moreland at first base. Davis, the catcher. Woods in right field. Say at third base. Boa, the shortstop. Ruthven, the pitcher. And the umpires are Eric Gregg behind the plate, Dana DeMuth at first, Dutch Rennert at second, Lee Wire at third.
Ruthven was the opening day pitcher for the Cubs, and he won his next start after that. But after going 2-0, he has lost his last 7 decisions.
Boy, what contrasting records. Ruthven has won only 1 in his lifetime against the Phillies. There's a strike call. Carlton has won 48 during his career against the Cubs. 1 strike to nothing on the right-hand hitter. A big hero for the Phillies yesterday. There's a pitch low.
Samuel said that Bordy had been working him away with breaking balls all day yesterday, and in the 9th inning, that's where he was looking. Bordy hung a slider, and Samuel hit it out. So it shows you when you're a starting pitcher, you have to adjust late in the ball game.
There's a pitch a little bit inside. A moment ago, you had quite a picture depicting what baseball really is. A game for the family. The old and the young and the in-between. Strike 2 call, a breaking ball to Samuel. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's no better place to bring the family, believe you me, than Wrigley Field. It has the intimacy of home. 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Oh, what a ball player this kid is. 23 years old. Out of the Dominican Republic.
He made most of his errors early, but about the last 40 games, he has really come on defensively.
2-2 pitch. Curveball hit foul. And the count even up 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Susie Horvitz was a very attractive little waitress at Kelly Mondelli's restaurant, celebrating a birthday today. Her parents threw a party for her last night, prematurely, as if she isn't getting old enough soon enough. Hey, struck him out. That's about the only way you're going to get that kid out. He has proven that all year long. He might chase the breaking ball, and if you throw it in the right places, you'll miss it. But if you make a mistake, look out.
Well, the high grass in the Cubs infield works to his benefit. Some of the big hitters have the ground balls slowed down so the infielders can catch up with them. But when Samuel taps the ball in the high grass, it kills it, and then it's tough to throw him out at first base.
1 out, nobody gone, and here's Greg Gross celebrating his 32nd birthday today. There's a strike call. Eric Gregg, the plate umpire. Harold Jalas, lifetime Cub fan, is here. Foul back to the screen.
Billy Connors before the game said that Ruthven's fastball was better right now than it's been at any time since he's become a Cub. He said unlike most pitchers, his fastball is what sets up the rest of his pitches. It makes his changeup better because there's a bigger disparity between the speeds, and it helps him get the velocity on the curveball.
0-2 pitch. Just missed with a fastball. 1-2 the count. Ruthven with a 4.73 earned run average. He's won 2, he's lost 7. The wind blowing out of the southwest at 9 miles an hour. It's 80 degrees. Curveball, tried to check his swing, and he fouled it off. A gang here from Harwood Heights. At the end of 2, the Cardinals lead the Mets 5-1. 1-2 the count. Fouled it off. Andy Mankiewicz in Boulder, Colorado. He and his gang of friends Watch every game on the cable out there. One and two, the count went out. Boy, he just missed with a fastball. He'd have had to buy him if it had been in the strike zone.
Gross is a good player, but the Phillies are anxiously awaiting Jeff Stone to get back and healthy again. They envision Stone and Samuel, a speedy 1-2.
Here he goes, the ball 3. He was ahead of him 0-2, and he's nibbled around until it's now 3-2. And now the percentage is with the hitter and not the pitcher. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And he wound up walking him. You can be too fine, too.
Especially when you're looking at Von Hayes and Mike Schmidt coming up 3 and 4. The last thing you want to do with Greg Gross, who is not going to hit a home run, is to not get the ball over the plate. That's what Ruthven did, and he is walking him back of the mound. He realizes that that was not a good way to start this one.
Here now, Von Hayes. 10 homers for the year, 3 of them against the Cubs, against whom he's batted .362. There's a strike call. Group of youngsters from Dubuque, Iowa here with Shirley Waters in the game.
Hayes is in right field today. He says he prefers center field. It's easier to get a jump on the ball, and the ball stays truer. It doesn't hook or slice.
There's a slow curve drilled into right center field, should be caught. Gary Woods is there. 2 men are gone, and here's Mike Schmidt. Schmidt is 2 out of 7 in this series, which makes you shudder. He's usually 7 out of 9. He's hitting .340, though, for the year against the Cubs, and he's hit 2 of his homers against them. He's got a total of 21 for the year, hitting .276. There's a quick throw to first. Two men are out. Oh, and he missed. Congratulations in order to the Hartkeys on the birth of their first child, Jason Daniel.
You won't see Greg Gross running in this situation. I would be very surprised. Ahead of a hitter like Mike Schmidt in this ballpark, they want him to swing the bat as often as possible.
There's a fastball a bit inside. He challenged him with a ball to the inside part of the plate. Here from Eldridge, Iowa group, Mike Schmidt. Great power hitter, the pitch. Curve a little bit outside, I guess. And Ruthven thought that pitch was good. Eric Gray might be the biggest umpire in the game. They say he weighs around 320. So now, Mike Schmidt's ahead on the count. He can be looking for a pitch. Swung, and he missed. And that evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, a runner at first.
Schmidt's the same type of hitter as Johnny Bench was. If you come inside, everybody always comes inside off the plate, and they try to get him out with breaking balls away from him, changing speeds, getting him out ahead on his front foot. But Schmidt can wait. He's very strong and can take the ball out to center field as easily as he can to left.
The 2-2 pitch. Just barely missed by 1/8 of an inch. He was aiming for that outside corner at the knees, right on the black of the plate.
Well, Harry, it's early yet, but I would like to see him throw him a 3-2 breaking ball and keep it away. Ruthven doesn't usually like to throw too many breaking balls 3-2, but this is the ideal situation for it. He might get an anxious Mike Schmidt swinging at a ball out of the strike zone.
3 balls, 2 strikes. There goes a runner. Bouncing ball to save. That ought to be easy with a good throw. he gets him to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. Not too shabby. Head. Cotto will lead it off. Henry Cotto hitting .263.
There's been no Wrigley Field jinx for Steve Carlton. He's 22-9 in Wrigley Field.
There's the ball gunner, but he bunts foul. A good idea. Foul strike.
It used to be in Carlton's early years, every time you bunted on him, the next pitch would find its way under your chin. Let's see if he's mellowed a little bit in his golden years.
Well, if so, you know, he has to bat in this league. I think I could get even in a hurry.
Not too many guys as big or as strong as he is, though. You'd think twice about buzzing one up there.
Are you kidding? There's a pitch swung on. He's not as big as Tim Stoddard. He's not as big as Rick Sutcliffe. Just to mention two that come to mind in a hurry. 0-2 the count. Stock came out. Cotto was getting out of the way. He thought the pitch was inside. That'll bring up Sandberg.
Claude Osteen said the difference in Steve Carlton between the beginning of the year and now is he's gotten over the top of that slider, and it's starting to go straight down. When Carlton is at his best, his slider just drops off the table, much like Ron Guidry of the New York Yankees. It got flat in the middle portions of the year, but now it's back to its old usual self.
Now the pitch to Sandberg. Right in there, the slider for a strike call. This is a very, very important ball game. All year long, the Cubs have come from gut-wrenching losses to bounce right back the next day and win. It's been a long time since a Cub team lost any bigger of a heartbreaker than the one yesterday. It'll be interesting to see how they come back. Inside slider, ball two. 2 balls and a strike. Ryne Sandberg hitting .331. Ball 3. Gary Matthews on deck. 3-1 delivery. Strike call. His fastball is not straight. It moves away from the right-hand hitter. 3-2 pitch. A smash, knocked down by Schmidt. Can't make the play.
That's got to be a base hit, Harry, because that ball just ate up Mike Schmidt. No call yet. Let's take a look at it. It's a 3-2 slider, and Sandberg gets the head of the bat out. Watch the hop it takes on Schmidt. Hits him in the heel of the glove. He's just trying to keep it in the infield, and no chance to get Sandberg at first.
Oh, come on. An error.
They're giving him an error. The 23rd of the year for Schmidt.
There's a pitch hit to the shortstop for 1 out over the first double play. Matthews all of a sudden is starting to swing at the very first pitch. He did that in the first inning yesterday and took the Cubs right out of an inning, and he did it again today. And again he rolled into a double play. And there's a man who leads the league in drawing walks. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. At the end of 1 inning, no hurry back at Wrigley Field to go into the top of the 2nd inning. No score. Len Matusek will be leading it off. The Cardinals are leading the Mets 5-1 in the 3rd. There's a strike at the knee. 1 strike and nothing.
There you look at Rick Sutcliffe keeping the chart. Jim Fry to his left. Billy Connors to his right.
There's a high pop foul out of play. That error that was charged to Schmidt was his 23rd. But if the other 22 were like that one. 0-2 pitch, here it is. There's a drive in the right center field, a base hit into the gap with 0-2. And Matusek pulls up at second base. One time, Ruthven was 0-2, wound up walking Gross. This time he is 0-2, and Matusek double to right.
Gary Woods doesn't play this ball well. He comes in and over. Instead of rounding it off, he thought he might have had a chance to catch it. And then the ball gets by him for a double. You can see it going off the wall, and Henry Cotto coming over. Had Woods a chance to do it over again, he would have held that one to a single.
Here's Ossie Virgil now, hitting .274 for the year. A good RBI man, a good home run man. He's walloped 15 already, and he has driven in 47.
Ruthven's fastball is clocked in the low to middle 80s, so he's not going to overpower anybody, but it moves well away from the left-hand hitter and into the right-hand hitter. But he's got to keep it down and hit his spots, much like Rich Bordy did all afternoon yesterday.
1 ball, no strikes. There's a smash right at Larry Boa. Holds a runner at second. Throws the first to the out. Did you see that ball as hard as it was hit? As soon as it hit that grass, it almost stopped. That's how high the grass is here.
It's ironic that Ossie Virgil was talking about the grass before the game. He says you can hardly drive the ball through. You can see that it puts on the brakes, finally gets to Larry Boa, and if the first hop is into the grass, it's going to be tough to get it out of the infield.
Here's Maddox now. Curveball a little bit high. Ruthven's not getting the ball down where he wants to, and Jody Davis is going out to talk to him.
I think that's one of the biggest improvements in Jody Davis from last year to this year. Outside of his throwing, he's taking more control this year. He's not leaving anything to chance. He's going out there, even with a veteran pitcher. If he sees something, he goes out there and mentions it right away and tries to nip it in the bud before any damage can be done.
Ruthven gets ready. There's a ground ball hit to Say. Holds the runner at second. Throws to first for the out. And here's Ivan DeJesus, hitting .269 for the year, but .326 against the Cubs. He's 1 out of 5 in this series. Steve Carlton, the pitcher, who's next, is probably a more dangerous hitter than DeJesus.
Well, ordinarily you would think that you'd be pitching around the number 8 man to get to the pitcher. The percentages are not with you here because DeJesus hits from the right side, and Carlton is a dangerous hitter from the left side. So instead of being careful with DeJesus, Ruthven will have to go right at him.
Carlton's hit a homer this year. Some DeJesus has not. There's a strike call. Carlton has driven in 8 runs as a pitcher with 12 hits. 0-1 the count. DeJesus digging in. Line foul, he's ahead of him on the count now, 0-2. That 0-2 has not turned out well for him yet. One time he walked the guy after having it, the other time the guy doubled. So let's see how he fares, whether the third time will be the charm.
0-2 is a pitch that you really have to concentrate because the tendency is to just take it for granted, but you can make it work for you if you concentrate, keep the ball down, out of the strike zone.
The pitch. He swings and he fouls it off. He threw him a breaking ball, and DeJesus is way out in front.
DeJesus originally came up with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he was one of a long list of shortstops that were waiting for Bill Russell to fall by the wayside. He worn out a few of those guys with other clubs, and Russell plays on.
You see where San Diego won its 4th straight shutout last night, beating the Dodgers 1-0. Gossage got the save.
Harry, they've gone 39 innings without giving up a run, but the most remarkable statistic in that series, the Dodgers have gone 51 straight innings and scored only 1 earned run. You wouldn't think it's possible with some of the hitters they have in their lineup.
1-2 the count. The pitch. Again, he fouls it off. Again, it was a slow current. Funny thing, Cubs had a 1-0 game in the 9th inning yesterday, and Samuel hit a homer to tie it up. San Diego had a 1-0 lead. Gossage came in and got the save. 1-2 the count. We've had managers take pitchers out with no hitters. Foul tipped. An inadvertent foul that time. He was trying to get out of the way. The ball hit his bat. So DeJesus is giving him a battle with a runner in scoring position, 2 out. There hasn't been much scoring in this series. 3-2 Cubs, 2-1 Phillies in 12 innings. That's the way the 2 games have gone. There's Jim Fry.
They played DeJesus shallow, so on a short single, they might have a shot at Matusek.
There's a pitch outside.
Matusek doesn't run exceptionally well. Cotto is in and to the right side of second base and center field. Woods is very shallow in right, and Matthews is halfway in left. So a well-stroked ball that the outfielder charges. We might see a play at home plate.
Matusek a very wide lead. The 2-2 pitch. Slow curve, and he barely missed. Again, from being 0-2, he's down to 3-2. With a dangerous hitting Steve Carlton waiting on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. He walked him 3 different times in this ball game. He's had the hitter 0-2, and twice he wound up walking him. The other time, the guy hit the next pitch for a double. And that guy is Matusek, who's at second base. Here's Carlton.
In this situation, you definitely want to keep the ball away from Steve Carlton. Gary Matthews will be fairly shallow in left field. And if he does get a base hit, you'd like to have him hit it to the left side.
Low inside. Boy, he's made a lot of pitches. We're only in the second inning.
He doesn't have his rhythm yet. Jody wanted that ball away from Carlton, and he threw it low and in. When you miss your spot by 2 feet, you don't have it all together. Let's see if he keeps it away this time.
Yeah, base hit in the left field. The first run of the ball game will score. You knew that was going to happen.
RBI number 9 for Steve Carlton. And the walk to DeJesus comes back to haunt him. It's a fastball. Has a little bit too much of the plate. He wanted it out over the outside corner. It looks like it was on the outer third. Matusek scores easily as the ball was to left center field, and the Phillies go up 1-0.
And a Carlton doesn't need more than a couple. Here's Samuel. A little low. 1 ball, he is really struggling.
Somebody has got to chase DeJesus back at second base. He's taking a lead that brings him halfway down between second and third. And neither one of the infielders is making any move to push him back. He could walk to third base.
1-0 Phillies. Ground ball to Boa. He's got it over to second for Forsythe. The walk to DeJesus cost him a run, and he had DeJesus, a weak hitter, down 0-2. But that's baseball, friends. 1 run there are die-hard fans. If you take your Cubs baseball seriously, why not make it official and join the Die-Hard Cubs fan club for only $9? Send for an official membership application to Post Office Box 522, Prospect Heights, Illinois 60070. Be sure to include the year when you became a Cub fan so your membership card can be properly embossed. Here's Keith Moreland to lead it off. 1 ball, no strikes. At the end of 3, the Cardinals lead the Mets 5-1. Moreland hitless in the series. Strike call to the knees. The count evens a ball and a strike. They're here from Northeast Kansas City. Came on the Amtrak, the Schaefer's, to see the ball game. There's the slider low.
Carlton is very much a rhythm pitcher, and you've got to step out on him, as Keith Moreland is doing right now. You let him stand on the mound and keep getting his rhythm, he's going to be tough all afternoon.
Ball low. Ball 3.
A lot of pitchers don't like to be kept waiting. They get aggravated and it affects their control. Steve Carlton is not immune to that.
3-1 pitch. There's a drive and a left center field off the wall. Here's Moreland on his way to second base. A good throw. He's out 10 feet. He's out so far that he tried to stop and come back. From Gross to Samuel.
Some bad base running on the part of Keith Moreland. He's got no chance to go to second base, and the play is right in front of him. He's got nobody to blame but himself here. The ball comes right back to Gross. Moreland's got to see that. He was just 2 steps around first when Gross was throwing the ball to second. No chance to outrun that guy. A train might not be able to outrun Samuel.
Here now is Jody Davis. Boy, oh boy, you can't blame a coach for that. Plays right out in front of you. As Moreland is rounding first, Gross is getting the rebound off the wall. He was out so far, he stopped halfway and tried to get back. Two balls and a strike on Jody Davis. Gary Woods on deck. The rubber game in the series. Popped it up on the infield. Samuel under the ball. And he's got it. 2 gone. Here's Gary Woods hitting .271.
Jim Fry keeps asking Jody Davis every day how he feels. He caught the doubleheader in New York. He came right back. Caught the next day and the next day and today. But Jody says, I feel good and I want to play. That's all Jim Fry needs. He keeps putting him in there, and Jody's done a great job behind the plate. His batting average has suffered a little bit, but that's to be expected when a man is doing double duty, catching every day.
Here's a pitch to Gary Woods. Strike call. Carlton has an all-time record of 3,821 strikeouts. Who do you think's the player who struck out the most over these years? I'll give you a chance. Who do you think?
Well, let's say, I'll say Willie Stargell. I have no idea, but Stargell seems a likely candidate.
Wrong again. King Kong. You're right, Arnie. Dave Kingman, 36 times.
And imagine Kingman was in the American League some of those times, so imagine if he'd stayed in the National League, how many times he could have gotten them.
Yeah. 1 and 2 the count. Well, Stargell and Dave Parker were close 35 times each. The Kingman fan 36 times. Our busy little bee with the typewriter is Jack Rosenberg coming up with these trivia. Inside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carlton looks terrific out there. Ball 3.
Carlton does a lot of thinking between starts, and he came up with the idea of staying more over the top on his slider.
There it is, ball 4 into the dirt.
And you can tell that he has got respect for Gary Woods. Nobody realizes more than Steve Carlton that Woods has been his nemesis. He's hitting close to 400. He threw him a 3-2 slider and just missed with it.
Here's Ron Say. Say hitting .216 with 14 homers and 56 RBI. The only run the Cubs got yesterday was Say's homer with 2 out in the 2nd inning. Steve Carlton, a well-conditioned athlete. Curve into the dirt. Slider.
From Ozzie Virgil's perspective, it's going to be a busy day because Carlton's good slider usually winds up in the dirt. So he'll probably wind up with 10 or 12 plays where he's got to block the ball with a runner in scoring position. He's going to be pretty well beat up when this one's over.
Another slider, low. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station. Carlton will be 40 in December. Ball 3. And Larry Boa on deck. 3 balls, no strikes. Swinging with 3-0. He swung at ball 4, which is about eye-high, and pops up. Matusik. Boy, oh boy. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, and 1 left. At the end of 2, 1-0. Arnie, can you show that pitch to say? It looked like it might have been high. Here we go with Greg Gross to lead it off. 1-0 in favor of the Phillies. And Ruthven's pitch. Swung on, fly ball, center field. Should be caught, and it will be. Cotto back, and he takes it. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Ron Say. According to Steve Stone, that would be ball 4.
That's ball 4 for sure. And the percentages of 3-0 hitting, Harry, have not gone in the Cubs' favor the last couple of series.
1 out, nobody on. Here is Hayes, and he takes a strike call. 1 strike and nothing. 1 out, nobody on. Ball game in the 3rd. When a guy's hitting, I guess it doesn't make any difference when you let him hit. But if he's not hitting, likewise, very little can help. 1-1 pitch. There's a drive. That might be out of here. It could be. It is a home run. Hayes gets his 4th home run of the year against the Cubs. His 11th all told this season.
It was a high changeup, and Ruthven is having trouble with his off-speed pitches, both his curveball, slider, and changeup. Every time he takes something off, it winds up in the hitter's eyes. This one was telegraphed by Dick Ruthven. He slows down his whole motion. Now watch where the ball is. Right up, it says hit me, and hit me, Von Hayes does. His 41st RBI of the year to go with those 11 home runs.
There's Mike Schmidt now, and he hasn't hit one yet. Ruthven's lifetime record against the Phillies, 1-5, with an earned run average of 4.68. Carlton's earned run average against the Cubs, 41-18. Schmidt takes a curveball outside. 2-0, the Phillies are leading. Cardinals are beating the Mets. There's a bouncy ball to save. Throws for the out. 2 gone.
Harry, when the offense is not producing all that much, you cannot afford to make mistakes on the bases. And last inning could have been completely different. If Moreland stays at first base, you get a walk to Woods. You got 1st and 2nd and a 3-0 count to Say. And all of a sudden, it's a different inning. As it was, Carlton got out of it relatively easily.
Here's Matusek now. Taking the pitch outside, ball 1. 2-0, Philly. Ball game's early, plenty of time. There's a slow curve in there for a strike call. Fastball over the outside corner. 1-2 the count. Slow curve outside. The pitch. Long drive, left field, way back. It might be. It is into the left field bleacher. And 3-0 now.
Home run number 10 for Len Matuzak, RBI number 29. And he takes him the opposite way. You've got to jam Matuzak because he likes to get his arms out. And that time, watch the extension. It's a fastball, about belt high, way deep.
And the Phillies are really playing long ball with Dick Ruthven. Here's Ossie Virgil now, and the strike is called. 3-0, Phillies lead. Fields have been outstanding on the road this year. Here's a little dribbler hit to Sandberg. Over the first of the out. 2 runs, 2 hits. No errors, nobody left. Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. We go now into the bottom of the third, and here's Larry Bowa to lead it off. Four generations of the same family are watching the game here today. Here's Bowa. A little tap right back to Carlton. 1 out. Here's Dick Ruthven, the pitcher, coming up. The Jim Van DeLinder family, 4 generations, all watching the ball. Great-grandmother, grandmother, grandmother's daughter, daughter's daughter.
A lot of women in that family.
Yeah, DeLinder's.
Where's the guys?
He wrote the note. Here's Ruthven. First pitch, right to the second baseman, Samuel. Over to first. Carlton's made 2 pitches, has 2 outs.
Samuel's made 24 errors this year, but most of them were made early. And he has really worked hard at second base. There is no substitute for hard work, and they've taken Samuel out before the games, worked him with ground balls, worked on his double play pivots at second base. And the Phillies think that one day he's going to be a quality defensive second baseman because nobody is questioning his offensive skills or his base running.
Here now is Henry Cotto. He made 4 pitches and he has 3 out. 1, 2, 3. Samuel throws out Cotto, nothing across. Milo will be joining Steve here in a moment. The score at the end of 3.
Milo Hamilton joining Steve Stone now, and this is a case of you just can't let Carlton get many more. He looks as though he's on his game definitely so far, and Ruthven is struggling a little with the strike zone.
Well, the Cubs let Steve Carlton off the hook in the second inning, and you can't do that too often. Now Ruthven's got to buckle down and hold him right here.
Maddox bounces one to short. Bowa there and throws him out, and it's 1 away in the 4th inning for Philadelphia.
The Phillies are just going to get stronger. Joe LaFay is coming back. He's in Reading right now in Double-A working on a rehab program, and he's about a week away. And Jeff Stone, that exciting young player they brought up, a good outfielder who is hitting close to 450 and has enormous speed. He's about 3 or 4 days away from being ready to go. So the Phillies are going to be a real tough club down the stretch.
All right, here's DeJesus, who drew a walk in the 2nd inning. And here's another bouncer to the shortstop. 3 pitches and 2 outs as DeJesus tried to leap to the bag, but that's never worked yet. Carlton retired 3 in a row in the bottom of the last inning on 4 pitches. So we got 5 outs here on 7 pitches. They're really mowing them down here. Here's Carlton, who got the hit that really hurt in that 2nd inning. Because Ruthven had gotten in front of DeJesus 2 strikes and walked him, and then Carlton, a much better than average hitting pitcher, stroked one to left and got them on the board. Then the solo homers put them back 3-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Sandberg with a convenient hop had to finally go down and get it. It didn't keep coming up for him, so 3 up and 3 down for Ruthven as he takes the tail end of the order with ease. Now let's see if we can go to work on the other end of this game with the bats. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth, trailing 3-0. The Phillies 12 games over, 500 on the road, and they play 18 of their next 22 on the road.
It was ironic when I talked to the Phillies players before the series started. They felt that they were going on the road for a prolonged stretch, and this was their opportunity to start pulling away. That's usually not the case, but they've played so inconsistently at home. And the sports writers covering the Phillies said that they just feel that they're a more aggressive club on the road. I don't know if it has anything to do with the reception from their home fans, but they are comfortable on the road. They've played very well, and at home they can't seem to get anything going.
Ryne Sandberg was safe on what the official score called an error in the first inning. Has a 10-game hitting streak. There's a fly ball deep into right field. It's up. It is gone. Ryne Sandberg puts a charge in one to right. His 15th home run of the year, and the Cubs are on the board. '11-game hitting streak. His 4th home run of the year against Philadelphia. Check the swing.
RBI number 65. It's a fastball away, and that's exactly where Sandberg takes it. Over the head of Von Hayes. It nestles into the seats. His 15th home run. And Sandberg once again gets the Cubs going. He puts them on the board for Carlton. That's the 8th home run he's given up in 160 innings. Not too bad a percentage.
0-1 to the Sarge. A strike. And another $100 from True Value to Cubs Care for Rhino's 4-bagger. It's the 3rd home run of the game. The Phillies have the other 2, and that's a ball to make it 1-2. Matthews had an 11-game hitting streak stopped here yesterday. First time up today, bounced into a double play. Bouncer short to Jesus in. Matthews out, 1 down in the Cub 4th. That'll bring up Moreland, whose base running left a little to be desired the first time up.
Moreland stepped out a couple of times against Steve Carlton, and then he got a pitch that he liked and drove it against the wall in left field. Most of the Cubs haven't stepped out too much today. It might be a good idea to upset the rhythm of Carlton.
No balls and a strike. Moreland 1 for 1. That's his hit in the series. He's 1 for 5. Playing first base today. Lined it into right center. It's a base hit. It's going to roll. Maddox will have to chase it to the base of the ivy. Moreland into second, and he will stand with a double. His 10th double of the year.
No doubt about this double. Moreland was going to make sure that this one was in there for 2, his 10th double of the year. Watch the way the ball gets hung up. It doesn't come off the wall. The ivy kills it, and Moreland is in at second base. I talked to Sandberg about his 16 triples and the fact that this isn't a good triple park. And he said you never get a big bounce off the wall if you hit a ground ball into it. That's one of the reasons why he goes for 3 on what looks like a double.
Jody Davis represents the tying run. Ball 1. Jody popped up to the first baseman his first time up. Dwight Gooden's been replaced at St. Louis. Gorman has come in. The Cardinals are leading that game 5-1. Line foul down the right side.
Jody's hands are buzzing on that one. He is taking a long walk away from the batting box. He's trying to get the feeling back in his hands. There you can see him. It looks like he cracked the bat, but his hands are still stinging a little bit. You can see him working them out. When you hit the ball off the end of the bat, you get a few bees in there, even on the warmest days. He should take a little bit of time right now, because if you don't have the good feeling, it's difficult. You can see him. He's going to smooth the batter's box out a little bit. Wait till that blood starts flowing again into his fingertips.
Oh, he's been doing everything today. Been cleaning off the plate for Eric Gregg, making sure that inside corner's showing for Ruthven. All right, ready now. 1-1. Bouncer, shortstop will charge. Big hop, runner can't move at second. 2 down. Try somebody else. DeJesus has been busy. That'll bring up Gary Woods. See if he can take it off of Jody here. Woods walked in the second inning. Woods, who's had that good lifetime against Steve Carlton, would like to pick it right up here. And a strike. 0-1.
Boy, I can't believe that call. That pitch was about 6 inches off the outside corner. And Gary Woods has a couple of words for Eric Gregg, who's had some trouble umpiring this series.
What about the pitch to Cotto in the first inning that was called strike 3?
Let's take another look at it. You've got to be consistent behind the plate. You can see Ozzie Virgil had to reach all the way over to get that one.
1-2. Gary over swinging. A run in on a leadoff homer by Sandberg. It's 3-1 Philadelphia. Our game is in the fourth. Moreland with a one-out double is still at second with 2 away. Lined into left, but it'll be playable and caught by Gross. Side retired. The Cubs hit some balls hard in that inning. Not only the homer by Sandberg, but a couple of others as well. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. Cut on Samuel leading off the 5th. There's a skimmer to second. Rhino will handle that with ease, and it's 1 away in the Philly 5th. Well, joining us in the booth, the famous Dr. No. Mark Feil, the trainer of the Chicago Bulls, doesn't have a smile at all about the #1 choice in the Olympics, huh?
He really looks good, doesn't he?
Boy, he can flat out play.
We're bringing most of the rookies in a couple weeks. I don't know if Jordan will be joining us or not.
I suppose you stopped down and gave some good advice to Tony Garoppolo. He always depends on you for that.
I haven't seen Tony today.
Mark, it's always great to see you. I know the camp will be getting underway. Looking forward to having the Bulls on Channel 9 again this year.
Good to see you, Milo.
All right. Yeah, look at that board. That's what the crowd reaction is. Cardinals got 4 more and lead the Mets 9-1.
Dwight Gooden apparently finding out that life as a rookie does have its down spots. They pounded him pretty well today.
Gross with a walk and a fly ball to center today. 2 balls and a strike. And our good friends, the folks at Cotter and Company, sent out their vice president and general counsel, Dick Lynn, to see how things are going today. Sandberg will throw out Gross as well, and it's 2 away. That's 6 in a row retired, and all ground balls since Matusik's homer.
He decided that he's got to keep the ball down to have any success at all. He's facing the team that leads the National League in home runs by a wide margin, and we have seen in the series thus far this year with the Phillies, they can take the ball out of the park with anybody in baseball.
Here's Hayes, who hit a line drive homer into right center. Oh, you talk about punctual. Dick Lynn says for that home run by Sandberg, I've got the 100 for Cubs care right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. By 2, trying to keep his club in this thing. He struggled in the second and third. 2 balls and a strike. Cubs have been out hit 4-3, outscored 3-1. Ron Hayes has really hurt the Cubs this year. 4 of his home runs against Chicago. Fouled way off out of play up to the left side.
This is the mark of a veteran pitcher, especially a battler. You give up a few runs early, but then you've got to close the door on the opposition. A young pitcher, when he has trouble early in a ball game, usually leaves the game early. Ruthven is still fighting, keeping the ball down, making some pretty good pitches thus far, and hoping that his offense catches fire and gets him back in this one.
2-2 makes it 3-2. Nobody on, 2 down, 5th inning. We've traded 1-run games so far. Cubs won the opener. Phillies got the 12-inning verdict yesterday. Line way down the left side. That's going to slip into the corner, and Matthews will have to chase it into that corner. He's going to try for a 3-run, and just that bobble down in the corner gave him an extra 90 feet. Hayes with his second hit today and his 19th hit of the year against the Cubs.
I think Matthews conceded the double on this. He looked like he went into the corner a little tentatively. Shape. Now watch him going into the corner. He slows down a little bit. There you can see it. The ball wrapped. Hayes, with the play in front of him, is on his way to third base. Despite the fact that man, he can let it out around the bases.
He's right back up around 400 against the Cubs again. 19 hits in 50 at-bats. Included in there 4 homers and 10 runs batted in. He has been tough. This is Schmidt. Ball 1.
Mike Schmidt twice on ground balls. Hit it.
Boy, with those Redbirds doing another number on the Mets, this would be a big one to come back and collect. Hayes at third with a 2-out triple. Schmidt with a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Schmidt in this series is 2 for 9. Two balls, 1 strike. And it's 3-1. The on-deck hitter is Matusik.
Davey Johnson had a meeting with his Mets yesterday, closed the clubhouse, read him the riot act apparently. Somehow I don't think the meeting was give up 9 early and try to come back and get him offensively.
3 balls and 1 strike. Oh, they asked for an appeal. First base umpire says yes, he did. That's what that appeal's all about. Jody wasn't going to let that swing get by and let him get on. He says, ask. And he received. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now he steps away.
For some of you folks who might not understand the appeal play, on a right-hand hitter, the first base umpire has asked for an appeal. With a left-hand hitter, it's the third base umpire.
Fouled it way up to the right side. Noah Shuffman, Jack Brickhouse's grandson, out here today. Noah now makes his home in Columbia, Missouri, and used to be when I was traveling with Mr. Brickhouse, we go to St. Louis. You could bet on Noah dropping by. How you doing, young man? All right? That's a boy. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just missed inside. He walked him. That's the 3rd pass issued by Ruthven. Puts runners at first and third, and Len Matusik with a double and a home run is the Philly hitter.
Well, he's tried to work him a couple of different ways. The first time up, he threw him a fastball in and tried to jam him. It was up a little bit. Matusik drove the ball into right field. Next time up, he threw him away, and he took the ball out of the ballpark to left field. Maybe a breaking ball's in order.
You were looking at Billy Connors and Jim Fry studying Ruthven. There's a drive out into right field. Woods back. He'll be there, and the side has been retired. Boy, thank goodness he didn't get a hold of that one and get under it a little.
He threw him a high fastball, and that one almost left the ballpark.
Say just hit the first pitch out of sight. Penguin Power collects for the 2nd day in a row, and it's a 1-run game.
Tried to sneak ahead with a fastball, and Ron Say said, nope, I'm going to take this one deep. Home run number 15, RBI. It went over the back screen, and there wasn't anything left of this one to get. Take a look at it again. Carlton delivers that fastball on the inner half. Long gone, making this one a 3-2 ball game, and Ruthven holding down Philadelphia has put the Cubs back in it.
A ball to Boa. Boa bounced to the mound his first time up. Leadoff homer by Say on the first pitch. It's his 4th home run against Philadelphia pitching. 4th home run of this game total. High fly ball, left field. Gross will back up 3 or 4 steps. And it's 1 down. Boa says, hey, maybe I'll try it out there. Not today, Captain. One down.
Non-home run hitters have got to hit ground balls and line drives. When a hitter like Bob Dernier or Larry Bowa or Henry Cotto start hitting fly balls, then you know that swing really isn't where it should be.
This is Ruthven. Bouncer. Samuel. Oh, he's nonchalanted that ball. He just stuck his glove out figuring all I got to do is put it there, but it didn't give him the true hop.
Well, he retreated on this ball. He went back from the dirt to the grass. Take a look at it. He didn't pick out his own hop. He's still moving backward. Had he moved in to catch that ball aggressively, he wouldn't have made that error. But once again, the youngster, making his 25th error of the year, has a tendency to get careless, and that one could cost the Phillies if Henry Cotto can do some damage.
Henry Cotto has been called out on strikes, and he's bounced to second. So the E4 has put Ruthven on with one out, and a strike to Henry. Edward Wadnicki, the commander of the Detective Division Area 6, out here with a group of 50 detectives and their families today. So glad to have Ed Wadnicki with his game. Ruthven at first, and trying to bunt his way on, but foul. Well, I tell you, Ed Langto's really going to be glad Dick Lynn came to this game today. It's Dick Lynn's day to pass out the $100 to Cubs Care on the Cub homers. Well, all he's got to do is collect the interest off all that money he made spotting for me on the Northwestern games back in. Bouncer third, throw to second, one, fire to first, no! That's not a double play ball. And Cotto beats the rap at first. The force on Ruthven, 5-4, and brings up Sandberg.
John Vukovich just had a word with Henry Cotto. Steve Carlton has a fine move to first base. And Cotto is a youngster. He's got to realize that Carlton can pick him off in an eyelash, and you want to let Sandberg swing the bat. So Cotto's got to be very careful at first base.
One ball, no strikes. Mets got a run in the fifth. St. Louis leading the Mets 9-2 as the Cardinals go to bat in the fifth inning. Look out! He just made it back. Oh, brother. There was that great move, and he was leaning the wrong way.
He's almost picked off. Here you see the move by Carlton, and Henry is on the way to second base.
Woo! He
just gets back in there. Vukovich should put a string on him and say, stand right here. Let's let Sandberg swing the bat.
Telegraphed a little more that time. The Little League team representing First Trust and Savings of Watseka here today. The president of that bank is Dick Martin, who doubles his voice of the University of Illinois games. Ball 2, no strikes to Rhino. Reached on an error on Schmidt in the first. Homered to right center in the fourth. 2 balls, no strikes. Good speed at first. Carlton moves him back.
Let's see if Carlton throws Sandberg that fastball. Last time he threw it away, Sandberg took it out of the ballpark.
Not a fastball that time. Now it's 3-0.
Carlton has 6 balks to lead the Phillies. So occasionally, every once in a while, that good move puts the man on second base.
That's a ball. He walked him. You talk about the 6 balks. That's about 1 out of 10 that they call on him. Matthews with 2 on, 2 out, a run in. Phillies are leading 3-2. Say started the inning with a home run. Fouled off by the Sarge, way back to the right. Back going to make the upper deck, and it's strike 1.
Sarge hasn't been patient with Carlton. That was a ball, and he swung at the first pitch each time up, grounding the ball to De Jesus twice.
Runners are going, and it'll be safe. A double steal with Cotto and Sandberg, and they pull it off.
He catches Schmidt by mistake because Schmidt is still moving when he tries to make this tag. Nice head first slide. Watch Schmidt back away after there you see him. The hand gets in there. He tries to swipe tag. But Lee Wire is not fooled. It's a good base running play by Cotto. I'm surprised he gambled. He thought that Carlton didn't look at him twice, which he didn't. But boy, if he gets thrown out at third base, Jim Fry's not going to be too happy.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, he took a swing. And Matthews joins a long list today who've been giving it to Eric Gregg. Flying down the left side, it's a foul ball. Oh, was that close? That's as close as you can get it and not be fair.
Carlton tries to get him with a slider. He throws it down and in, and the Sarge gets the head of the bat out over the outstretched glove, and Schmidt didn't get a glove on it, fortunately for him, and it's fouled by about 2 inches.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Right at the first baseman. Matusik will handle it. Side retired. A lot of activity, but have to settle for only 1 run. 1 run on the leadoff homer by Say. A walk, an E4, a double steal, 2 left. That's day camp among the groups out here today. And Dr. Joe Crystal's group from Northwest Community Hospital. He got a lot of them out here today. Oh, you talk about diehard Cub fan. The good Dr. Crystal fits that category to a T. He got the Cub tie on. There's a Virgil swing that sends a ball out into center. Cotto will be right there, and it's 1 away in the Philadelphia 6th. Well, you hear about different situations about diehard Cub fans. But Murray Hurt, the sports editor of the Rock Island Argus, called me the other night and told me about one. Gene Peterson out in Rock Island had to have heart surgery the other day. When he came out into the recovery room, his first words were, "How'd the Cubs do?" Sounds like an old Dick Lynn story. Shortstop will have to really let it go. Maddox can run. Good strong throw by Boa, and 2 away. So to Gene Peterson in Rock Island, more often than not, whatever day that was, the Cubs won for you because they've been winning a lot.
Ruthven has settled down a little bit since the home run to Matuzak. Only the triple by Von Hayes has stopped his consecutive string of retired Phillies. And he's kept him right there, given his chance a way to climb back into this one. And the 2 home runs were only 1-run homers. Nobody on the bases.
Oh, that helped, didn't it? Of course, they're saying the same thing about ours, right? De Jesus walked in the 2nd, bounced out in the 4th. Foul back, strike 2. Joey and Patrick McGinn all the way up from... Now, if you were to look at this, you'd say that was Monroe, Louisiana, but if you're from down there, it's Monroe, Louisiana. Watch us on the cable. Went after a high breaking ball, popped it into shallow left center, and Cotto's right there. An easy inning for Rupert. In the middle of the 6th, Ruthven now back in it. Phillies lead it only by a run. Hey, there's a guy who says, "I'll make my own hat. Arnie will be sure to pick me out today," and he did. Here is Moreland, 2 hits, single and a double, strike 1. Well, the folks out in San Francisco hope that they could see Giants baseball in a little different place with no wind. Can forget it. Mayor Dianne Feinstein says that plan has been junked. No new ballpark for the Giants.
She probably took a look at the 1-loss record this year.
Oh, she took a bigger look when they said it was going to cost $100 million.
They should just put a dome on that one. That's not a bad ballpark. Just a little too windy.
There's a drive. Way back to left. This game is tied. Holy Toledo. Keith Moreland
run number 11, RBI number 43, and Keith Moreland has a perfect day today. He takes it way back. When they hit him off Carlton, they go. Take a look at the people across the street. They're waiting for this one, and the scramble is on.
Happiness is a home run souvenir, and that guy jumped right up. Here's Jody. Fouled it way up to the right side. 3 home runs by the Cubs, and each of them have been the 4th by a Cub against the Phillies. Sandberg, Say, and Moreland. Homer for Moreland is 4th against them.
It's not like Carlton has given up a lot of home runs. Coming into today, he'd only given up 7 in 156 1/3, so he's almost 50% higher right now, tied for the staff lead with 10.
Fouled way up to the right, and another $100 from True Value for the folks at Cubs Care. Anybody want to call a cab for Dick Lynn when he gets out of here? He'll never be able to pay for it today. That's $300. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 5 home runs in this game. It's a Wrigley Field day. Jody goes down as Carlton really busted one off on him. That's only the 2nd strikeout for a guy who usually has 4 or 5 times in this game. Now Gary Woods with a walk and a line drive to left. 0 for 1 for Woods. There's a bouncer too short. DeJesus fires. Hit so sharply he's out by 5 or 6 steps. It'll bring up Ron Say, who homered the last time up. Boy, with all these homers, the Cubs could pull this out, and with the Mets getting beat at St. Louis, they'll have a lot of fun when San Cienas, the old Billy Goat, opens up a new spot on Washington tonight. I know that Joe Corneo will be there. In fact, he looks a little like the mascot for Billy Goats.
Do they make Grecian formula for beards, Milo?
Well, if they do, Billy Goat would have it. Probably a little ouzo mixed with Masro Daphne. That'd be a good mix. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ron Say 1 for 2, a big one. 2 hits in the series before today, 1 more today, and 2 of the 3 out of the park.
Say a little fastball and got that breaking ball right down the middle.
Right into left field, a base hit. It's down the line. Say will look right at it and come back. Base hit. Hit number 2 in the inning and hit number 6 in the game for the Cubs.
Ron said, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you," because he didn't fool him with the breaking ball that time. It was down and in, and he drove it into left field. Bill Campbell up and loosening in the bullpen for the Phillies. He came on yesterday, threw an inning, and picked up his first save of the year.
What would you bet on that? Over 100 games before Soup picked up a save.
Al Holland's the man. He's got 22 of them. When it gets close, they give it to Al.
Yeah, but by accident, you'd say it, wouldn't you?
Well, Larry Anderson has the only other saves on their ball club. He's got 3. They've been using Campbell in the middle, and he's had a pretty good year in that role.
It takes 3-1. Hermina Oliver celebrating her 100th birthday today, watching at the Woodbine Rest Home out in Oak Park. Think she's seen a few Cub games. That's going to be off of Schmidt. He'll not throw. He'll throw to second, hoping that maybe Say would have turned. Not a bad idea, but Say was standing right on the bag.
This is an easier play than in the first inning. And I think they're giving Larry Bow a base hit. I think that's a direct correlation to the first inning. He's standing right there. And Larry gets the base hit. I think he's the recipient of Sandberg's error in the first. But at any rate, it's 2 men on, and Ruthven's got a chance to put himself ahead.
Runners first and second, 2 down. A run in on a leadoff homer by Moreland. Breaking ball missing. Tom Matsuoka celebrating his 81st birthday today. Watching the game in Chinook, Montana. The K. Joyce Register is receiving all those requests.
If the Phillies have one Achilles heel, it's certainly the defense, and it's shown up today.
Fouled off. Dick Ruthven has bounced out and reached on an error on the second baseman, Juan Samuel. He got a 2-1 count. The Cubs were down 3-0. They battled back with 3 solo homers to tie it. There's a smash to the first baseman. Here comes save. The Cubs are going to go in front. The right fielder didn't pick up the ball cleanly. He never had a play, and once he did that, Boa got around to third. The Cubs are leading 4-3.
The base hit for Ruthven. He scalds this ball, and Matuzak, who made a fine play earlier, sees it go off his wrist. Now Von Hayes can't pick it up, and the Penguin scores the go-ahead run. The Cubs have runners at the corners, and Henry Cotto can add to the lead. The Phillies lead the National League in errors with 113 errors. San Francisco is second with 110. But there you can see Paul Owens, and he realizes his club makes too many mistakes defensively.
All right, runners on the corners. Cotto is 0 for 3. Laid off of a breaking ball. A 2-run inning has put the Cubs on top. They've come from 3 down to 1 up. Ball 2. Slicing over near the line. Hayes over makes the play. Side retired. But the Cubs have an inning. They get 2 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. And this crowd loves it. No errors. They leave 2. And after 6 innings, it's changed. The Cubs are leading the Phillies 4-3.
Been taking a little extra time because he ran the bases in the Cub half of the 6th inning, and I think that's going to be it for Steve Carlton, because Anderson is heating up in a hurry, and Carlton has not come out on deck. They're going to use a right-handed pinch hitter for Carlton. It looked like it might be Glenn Wilson, but I'm not certain. But Ruthven taking his time, making sure he's loose, making sure he has his wind back, because one of the consequences from his surgery was that half of his diaphragm wasn't functioning correctly. He had a hard time getting his wind when he came back. I don't know if it's 100% yet, but he seems to have himself squared away, and now there's going to be a pinch hitter.
Glenn Wilson will be the pinch hitter for Steve Carlton. And George Frazier has started to warm up in the bullpen for the Cubs. Billy and Matt Kelly are here from Galena to pull for the Cubs.
Wilson 1 for 11 as a pinch hitter, 247 overall.
There we go. Glenn Wilson used to be with the Tigers. First pitch swung on, high, pop fly. Will it stay in play? Moreland chasing it. With Sandberg calling for it. Sandberg makes the catch in foul territory. 1 out. From the Chicago Police Department, Commander Ed Wadnicki here with a group of 50 detectives and their families enjoying the ball game.
Nice play by Sandberg, because Moreland didn't have any angle on the ball, and Gary Woods wasn't there yet, so Sandberg went over, took control, made a forceful call. Everybody backed off, and he made the catch.
1 out. Bill Timaeus, popular columnist in the Kansas City Star, here with his family to watch the ball game. Here's Samuel, and he takes the pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes. There you see Billy Connors, the pitching coach. Jim Fry, the manager. 1 ball, no strike, the pitch. Fouled it out of play, and the count is evened up, a ball and a strike. Big crowd on hand, around 35,000. Here's the pitch. Foul, tipped it, and the count is 1-2.
He's trying to jam Samuel. Early in the game, he threw some breaking balls away from him, struck him out in the first inning on a breaking ball away. We saw what happened yesterday when Samuel looked breaking ball and got it. Let's see if he keeps this one. This should be a curveball away.
There it is, and he foul tipped it. You know, Justin, Carlton had in 6 innings had only 2 strikeouts. The first man he faced, Cotto, was called out, and Jody Davis in the 6th. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Breaking ball, and he got it. Samuel for the second time today strikes out.
Ruthven hung this one, and he got away with it. You can see, watch the rotation. It really doesn't break. It stays up. But Samuel, completely fooled by the speed of the pitch rather than the location, goes down for the second time.
You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station, where every evening at 9 you see the news. 2 out, nobody on. Greg Gross, the batter. Fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. It started all Philadelphia. Now in the last 3 innings, it's been all Cubs. And we got 3 innings to go. The pitch. Strike called over the outside corner, a high strike. Greg Gross celebrating his 32nd birthday today. Von Hayes on deck. Here's Dick Ruthven's pitch. Strike 2 call.
Ruthven has really battled back in this one. It looked like he was in for an early shower after the 3rd inning. But he just tightened his belt and went right after the Phillies, throwing strike after strike. Pinpoint location the last 3 innings.
There's a line drive hit to right by Gross. He hung that breaking ball, and Gross rifled it in the right field.
Well, this is a sign that Ruthven is tiring a little bit, Harry, and I hope that Jim Fry recognizes it on the bench, because he's still throwing a good fastball, but he hung 2 breaking balls this inning, both to Samuel and Gross. Gross took advantage of it, Samuel didn't, but now you're facing Hayes and Schmidt. If you hang it to these guys, you're looking for trouble.
2 men are out, a runner at first base. Hayes homered in the 3rd, tripled in the 5th. His home run was to right, his triple was to left.
Jim Fry is coming out. He wants to have a word with Ruthven, and he might be deciding that that would be it.
He's walking out slowly. George Frazier is in the bullpen. The score 4-3. The Cubs are leading after being down 3-0.
That's going to be it for Ruthven. He didn't like the 2 hanging breaking balls, and he's going to tell him it's a good performance. Let's turn it over to the bullpen and see if they can hold him down.
And Ruthven getting a great hand from the crowd. Many of them standing in appreciation of his courageous performance here. He had a pitch in the face of adversity in the early innings, but his teammates came back, and he himself drove in the go-ahead run. Hey, here's a chance to tell you about the Die-Hard fan club. You know, there are fans, and then there are die-hard fans. And if you take your Cubs baseball seriously, why not make it official and join the Die-Hard Cubs fan club for only $9? All you got to do is send for an official membership application to that post office box number, 522 Prospect Heights, Illinois. The zip code is 60070. Hey, when you do write in, be sure, excuse me, to include the year that you became a Cubs fan. You want that to be on your embossed card. There are a lot of benefits to be derived from being a member of the Cubs Die-Hard fan club. And when we get a chance, we'll try to enumerate some of them for you.
Frazier's 2-0, 466 earned run average, making his 17th appearance. He's finished 6th, doesn't have any saves in 29 innings. He's given up 23 hits, 26 strikeouts, 15 bases on balls. He's been touched for the long ball 3 times. And the man he's going to face has hit the long ball 4 times against the Cubs this year, Von Hayes.
Well, Frazier ought to be familiar with him. He faced him in the American League as well as over here in the National League. He's in one of those grooves where he hits everything. 2 out of 3 for the day. The first pitch to Hayes. Fastball high and outside. I can't believe that's Bill Bradley, WGN television sales executive, out there celebrating his birthday with his wife. I never saw any executive dressed like that. Shorts, red shirt.
My day off here.
Here's a pitch, swung and miss.
You guys probably go to the same tailor.
What are you, 29 again, Bill?
Again here.
Yeah, again. A ball and a strike. Congratulations on having a beautiful wife, not on having a birthday. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, had a cut it, he missed.
In order for Fraser's sinker to work well, he's got to stay on top of it. The first pitch he got under, but the next 2 he stayed right on top, and the ball moved very well. There you take a look at Dick Ruthven. Should be very proud of his efforts today. He really battled him.
1 and 2 the count.
Still looking out at George Fraser, hoping he can get out of this one.
Grows the lead, not likely to run. We ought to be out of the inning. Who's going to cover first? Ruthven, save! An infield hit for Hayes, whose lightning speed down the line. Frazier did his best to try to tag him before he hit the bag.
Moreland got the ball quickly to George Fraser, but the ball was hit high enough off the first bounce so that Hayes has plenty of time to get down the line. Fraser can't get to the bag. He makes the swipe tag, but Dana DeMuth said he didn't get him in time. It was a good call. Hayes is by him. You can see the swipe, and he's on the bag, and George never does get a piece of him.
And look who's coming up now. Twice against Ruthven. He bounced out to third. Then he walked, and now he's up there with the game on the bases. A little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. Cardinals are murdering the Mets 11-2 in the 6th. Cubs need a victory to take over first place. High fly ball on the infield. Moreland calling for it to retire the side. Smith pops to Moreland. No run. 2 hits. No error. 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. The Cubs are leading 4-3. Aye! Let me hear you, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the mall. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root, root, root for the Cubs. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's to the bottom of the 7th. Anderson now pitching. Ryan Sandberg now batting. The Cubs leading 4-3. A bouncing ball. Boy, that Anderson does some job. There's a quick throw over to first. 1 out.
Anderson has been tough on the Cubs, but he's been tough on everybody this year. 1-1, 153 earned run average, making his 38th appearance. He's finished 14 of those. He's got the only saves on the ball club that Al Holland doesn't have. He's got 3 in 59 innings. He's given up 52 hits, 36 strikeouts, and 14 bases on balls. He's only been touched for the long ball 3 times.
Here's Gary Matthews 0 for 3 today. Fastball brushes him away.
Attention media, here are today's attendance figures.
Larry Anderson, 31-year-old veteran.
The paid attendance, 32,900. 32900. The total at Wrigley Field, 33,731. 33.
Here's the pitch over the inside corner. 33,731 here, of which 32,900 paid. Ball is high, ball 3. The Cubs will go over the $1.25 million for home attendance tomorrow. 3-1 pitch. He walked him, ball 4. Here's Moreland, who was 3 out of 3 against Steve Carlton. A single, a double, and a homer, and on that single, he was out trying to stretch it into a double, so he's hit the ball well all day.
Anderson started with the Cleveland Indians way back in 1971 in Reno. He's bounced around, has seen a lot of minor league cities, made some major league stops with the Indians, with Seattle, and now with the Phillies. He chases Matthews back. He depends on a good hard slider, tries to keep the ball down a little bit.
Moreland the batter, runner at first base, 1 out. Sinking fastball a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. Anderson, another one of the many refugees from the Cleveland Indians.
Moreland needs a triple to hit for the cycle. A rarity in baseball.
Now the pitch, high. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 on, 1 out. Cubs leading 4-3. Going for the rubber game in the series. Steve Carlton started for the Phillies, but he left the ball game for a pinch hitter in the top of the 7th. Larry Anderson now in relief. Steps off the mound. Montreal opens the series here tomorrow. High fastball, ball 3. We'll be televising all the rest of the games on this homestand, including the Saturday game, which starts at 3 o'clock. We will not be preempted. 3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4. So Anderson has walked 2 in a row. Maybe we put the hex on him talking about how good he had been.
Well, you can never put too many runs on the board against the Phillies. Claude Osteen wants to go out and have a word. That'll mean that somebody is getting up in the bullpen. It looks like it might be Bill Campbell again. Let me see. It's Bill Campbell one more time, so Osteen wants to give him some time to get loose. He gets ready very quickly, having been a career reliever. The Philadelphia Phillies this year are 2nd in the league in runs scored, 3rd in the league. Check that, behind Chicago and San Diego. So a little bit of a cushion here is not going to hurt anyone.
The second shift of the Engine Company 119 of the Chicago Fire Department represented out here today. Jody Davis is hitless. Runners at first and second. Oh, for another long one, huh? The Cubs have already hit 3. There's a strike call. 1 strike and nothing. The Angels are tied at Oakland 2-2 in the 3rd. Line drive, but it's foul in the right field corner. That's twice he's done that. Going out that way. But the line drive just drifts off foul. Now he's in the hole 0-2. Gary Woods on deck.
Well, that should be Jay Johnstone or one of the others. Woods is a Steve Carlton specialist, but Carlton is watching this one.
Now ready. There's a Leon Durham down there, too. Swung, and he struck him out on 3 pitches. Gary Woods, due to be the hitter. He's being called back. Let's see who's going to... Leon Durham. They don't have any left-hander in the bullpen. So Durham is my guess. There it is. The bull is coming out. It's a pinch hit. That brings a roar from the crowd.
My guess would be that Campbell would come in to face him, Harry. I don't know if Paul Owens wants to make the change, but Campbell with the good screwball kind of negates the left-hand hitter. So let's see if the wheels will be moving on both sides and if Paul Owens makes a change.
All right, now he's been announced. If they're going to make any change, now would be the time. Durham hitting .296. 14 homers. Boy, he could deliver a mighty big blow here. Durham with 14 homers, 63 RBIs, 11 game-winning hits. Runners at first and second with 2 out. Right in there, a fastball. 1 strike to nothing. Larry Anderson, veteran right-hander. There's a high pop fly in the infield. He jammed him with a fastball. And Durham pops out to De Jesus. Cubs got to hold him. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left. They have stranded 9 in 7 innings. At the end of which they lead 4. Carry back at Wrigley Field. There's Leon Durham staying in the ballgame to play first base, and Keith Moreland switches out to right field. You know, Moreland was rested yesterday, and he bounces back today with 3 solid hits, including a home run that tied it.
Lee Smith is up and loosening in the bullpen. If George Frazier runs into any trouble, I think Lee will be in this one.
Frazier in his 2nd inning of relief. There's a fastball a bit low and outside. Wide again, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, but Tusick, Virgil, and Maddox coming up in that order. We're in the 8th, Cubs leading by a run. Popped it up. Short center. Cotto. Easy out. There's Virgil. Has anybody ever kept a book, a stat, on all hitters with a count 2-0 and 3-0 and 3-1, what they actually do hit?
Well, 2-0 and 3-1 are the counts, Harry, that you can't take away from a hitter because those are the best pitches to hit. 3-0, a lot of time the hitter gets very anxious and the percentages are down. I would say the percentages are the highest on 2-0, 3-1.
There's a pitcher curving there for a strike call. 1 strike to nothing, 1 out. Ball game in the 8th. Bright sunshine, gorgeous day, big crowd, exciting ball game. Swung and he missed. That was a super sinker that time.
Smile on the face of Ozzie Virgil. He missed that one by a foot.
Virgil has caught a lot of those kind of pitches, so he knows what it is. 0-2. Struck him out on 3 pitches. 2 men are out here in the 8th. And here's Gary Maddox.
This is a good slider. You can see it. Good position on 0-2. It's not a strike, but it's close enough that Virgil has to protect the plate.
Here's Gary Maddox. 2 out. The Cubs are leading 4-3. A hot day in Chicago town. A little bit low and outside.
Maddox is not above bunting in this situation with, say, back a few steps at third base.
Breaking ball in there, a beauty. Seattle knocked off Minnesota 5-1 today. They beat Smithson. Baroas was the winner. There's a ground ball foul. And the game-winning hit for Seattle was by Spike Owen, whose older brother Dave plays shortstop sometimes for the Cubs.
Kevin Gross is throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies.
1-2 the count. He struck him out. Boy, he breezed through that 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Cubs are leading 4-3. He hit the first pitch thrown by Carlton to him in the 5th for a home run. That made it a 3-2 ball game because Ryan Sandberg had hit the first pitch leading off the 4th for a home run, which was the first Cub run. Then Moreland hit the 3rd leading off the 6th to tie it up. So each of the 3 home runs were leading off the inning. The game-winning hit right now would belong to Ruthven if it ends this way. The Penguin hits a ground ball. De Jesus' throw is in time. He's out on the first pitch. 1 away. There's Larry Boa turning around to hit left-handed. Larry, a much better hitter right-handed according to average, hitting .290 right-handed, only .190 left-handed. 1 out, nobody on. High pop fly on the first pitch. Mike Schmidt under it. Right at the pitcher's mound. 2 pitches, 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th. George Frazier coming out. He hasn't had an opportunity to hit many times. Just twice. Fouls off the first pitch.
That was a swing that said, I really don't want to get on the bases. I'd just like to get out there for the 9th inning and get you fellas out 1, 2, 3.
There's a strike call. Fouls it out of play. Looking ahead, they'll probably use pinch hitters in the 9th. De Jesus, Anderson, and Samuel are the 3 hitters coming up.
If they get the first 2 outs, Samuel can hit with 2 outs in the 9th again, Harry.
There's a line drive to Samuel for the out. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. Anderson, 2 scoreless innings. And at the end of 8, the Cubs 4, the Phillies 3. Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. There you see George Frazier. You know, this was the same situation yesterday, only the score was 1-0 in favor of the Cubs going into the top of the 9th. De Jesus was the first hitter scheduled to bat. Tim Corcoran pinch hit for him yesterday. De Jesus is the first hitter scheduled to bat today. Tim Corcoran is going to bat for him. Yesterday, Corcoran lined out to Sandberg to start the 9th.
Corcoran hitting .352, 9 for 27 as a pinch hitter. That's .333 with 8 RBIs and no home runs. He has hit 5 this year with 28 RBIs all told. And Lee Smith is standing on the bullpen mound, so George Frazier has gone out there with a string attached to him. If he gets 1 man on, you can almost take it to the bank that Jim Fry will go to his stopper.
Frazier has a chance to pick up his first save of the year. He's 1-2. He's lost none. He's going for a save. Got to hold him to get it.
What a big ball game to win, Harry, because I still think when all is said and told, coming down the stretch, it's going to be Philadelphia and Chicago.
No doubt about it.
And this is a team, when they get healthy, which they are about to do within the next week, and put a formidable lineup on the field every day. You'd like to push them another game back right here if you could.
Here's the first pitch to Cochran. Fastball a little bit low. Hold everything. We're in the ninth. 4-3 Cubs. 3 outs away from a victory. The pitch to Cochran. He swung, tried to check, went around. A ball and a strike. Cochran used to be with the Tigers, up and down their organization. A good hitter.
Al Holland is throwing in the Philly bullpen.
Now Frazier's pitch. Low and outside. 2 balls and a strike.
There you take a look at the man with 22 saves. We saw enough of him yesterday to last us for this series.
Big pitch. Fouled it out of play off to the left. Cochran is 31 years old. Started in professional baseball in 1974. Came up with the Tigers 4 different times. Then he went over to Minnesota. Then was with the Phillies Portland Farm Club last year. Then came up at the tail end of the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He struck him out. That's a 3rd strikeout in a row for Frazier.
It's a good strike. It's a good slider after setting him up with fastballs away. Watch the break of this pitch. The bottom falls out of it, completely fooling Corcoran.
Well, yesterday, Cecil Lascano, after the pinch hitter Cochran had been retired, was the next hitter. And so is he here today with 1 out. Yesterday, he flied out.
You're not getting the feeling of deja vu, are you?
Whatever that is, yes. Juan Samuel on deck. 1 out, nobody on. Slider low. 2 balls, no strikes. Be careful. Notoriously good fastball hitter, Cecil Lascano.
Hits out of a low crouch. Shrinks his strike zone a little bit.
Ball 3 outside. Lascano has hit 13 homers this year. The count, 3 balls, no strikes. There you see Lee Smith, an interested spectator. The 3-0 delivery. Strike call. Lascano thought it was high.
That's a break. Lascano is talking to Eric Gregg. He says, "Are you kidding me? Take another look at it." Looks like he should be on his way to first base.
3 balls and a strike. Strike 2 call. The Cardinals wallop the Mets 11-2. The Mets' 6th loss in a row. The Cubs would be the new leaders in the National League East if they win. 3-2 delivery. Ball 4. Here's Samuel now.
I got to believe they're going to go to Lee Smith. And there you take a look at Jim Fry. He's not going to delay it any longer.
Boy, Frazier did a heck of a job while he was in there. He faced 7 men, struck out 3 of them. Allowed only 2 base runners, 1 on a scratch hit, and the other one on this walk. Lee Smith will be the new pitcher. So Smith now will have the shot at his 23rd save.
Nice hand for Frazier. Lee Smith trotting in. 5-4 with a .365 earned run average, making his 46th appearance. He's finished 38 of those with 22 saves, 66 2/3, 59 hits, 59 strikeouts. 26 bases on balls, been touched for the long ball 6 times. He will inherit 1 out here in the 9th with Loscano at first base. Pretty good base runner. Not usually a base-stealing threat, but he does have good quickness. And the Cub nemesis, Juan Samuel, due up, along with Greg Gross.
Lee Smith. Cubs have had 4 runs on 8 hits, no errors. The Phillies have had 3 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors. And now it comes down to Lee Smith trying for his 23rd save.
It was really the Phillies defense that did them in the 6th inning. 3 balls bounced off gloves at third base, at second base, and at first base. The Cubs put a couple of runs on the board and took the lead.
It'll be Samuel and Greg Gross coming up in that order. It would be wishing too much to hope that Samuel would hit in a double play. He is so lightning fast.
I think you'd have to line the ball at Leon Durham, and Durham would have to step on the bag for him to hit into a double play.
Or hit a line drive on 1 hop at somebody. The Angels are leading at Oakland 4-2 in the 4th. Seattle knocked off Minnesota 5-1. White Sox play later tonight against Boston. This is the only National League game underway, and the Cubs are leading 4-3 in the 9th.
Surprisingly, Harry, Samuel has bounced into 5 double plays this year, so he's not immune to that particular statistic.
Samuel, a fastball hitter. Lee Smith, a fastball pitcher. 1 out, 1 on. The delivery now. Boy, he had a wicked swing. It was power against power on that one.
And Dallas Green is not watching this from his booth, Harry. I see him walking up and down on the catwalk, so this has been a tense moment for everybody.
0-1 the count. Loscano a lead at first base. Lee Smith ready. Whoa, the ball slipped out of his hand as he was throwing it. Did they call that a pitch or they call it a pitch? It's a ball. I was afraid they might call it a balk, and that's what Paul Owen is coming out to complain about.
Well, the pitch did come toward home plate, Harry, so he's calling it a pitch. Let's watch it again. Fortunately, the ball does go toward home plate. This could be the best changeup in history.
They used to play shadow ball, you know. They don't do that anymore, where they pretend to throw the ball and flip it around their back.
How embarrassing would it have been if Samuel would have swung at that?
A ball and a strike. I don't know what that pitch indicates. The delivery. Base hit, right field like a bullet. And they have runners at first. He's going to try for third. The throw's got a chance, but he cuts it off.
Well, Boa didn't want to give Samuel a chance to get into scoring position at second base. That was a good play. I don't think they would have had Loscano, and Larry alertly cut the ball off. It's a fastball down. Samuel takes it to the right side in the vacated area. There you see Loscano trying to make the throw go through so Samuel can wind up at second, and the Phillies still are in a double play situation.
Greg Gross is more likely to hit into a double play than a Samuel.
Harry, you got to watch the bunt in this situation. It really becomes a possibility.
Not only that, I don't believe that Samuel will hesitate a moment before he tries to steal. He gets away to a running start. He's got 49 stolen bases. They rarely throw him out. And so Jody Davis is going to be tested. Greg Gross digging in. There he goes. There's a peg. Whoa! Bouncing away. The man's trying to score to throw to the plate. Game is tied up.
A terrible throw by Jody Davis. He had no chance to get Samuel, and the ball just eats up Larry Boa. Here you can see it. The Phillies tie it up. Watch the throw. It hits on the grass. Almost takes Larry's face off. Now Sandberg tries to make a great play, but there's no chance to get Loscano.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now they got two great hitters with the go-ahead run in scoring position. And Al Holland will be coming on to preserve their lead if they get it. This game is tied up. Boy, I knew Samuel would hesitate even a pitch. He went on the very first one. Had a flying start. There's a bouncing ball. Who's going to cover first? Smith is there. 2 men are gone. And look who's up there now, Hayes. Boy, the Phillies and the Cubs cut out of the same cloth. They both keep coming at you. And that's not an accident. Both teams made up of winning-type ball players.
You got to go back to the walk of Loscano. That turned out to be disastrous. George Fraser missed with a 3-2 pitch. That set up the inning for the Phillies.
Here now, Hayes the hitter, Samuel the runner at third. Low fastball.
Lee Smith is in a stretch. He doesn't want Samuel to even think about breaking the home plate. He also doesn't want him to try to induce the balk. So he's going to take a stretch and stare right at the youngster.
There's a good fastball in there for a strike called. A ball and a strike. Second day in a row, the Phillies pull the heroics in the 9th inning. Smith has had 3 wild pitches this year. Boy, just missed with it. He thought it was good. Smitty did. 2 balls and a strike. Mike Schmidt, who wears Lee Smith out, is next. 2 balls and a strike. He didn't mean to swing. He tried to check it. Fouls the pitch off. Smitty has made some good pitches to him. All have been low. Samuel did a homer to tie it up yesterday. Today he got a single to put the tying run on third. A little tap foul.
Both times, Harry, Samuel had been held hitless through the whole game until the 9th inning. Hadn't had the ball out of the infield yesterday. Then he hit the home run in the 9th. Hadn't had the ball out of the infield today in 4 at-bats till he got that base hit.
Lee Smith. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled it out of play. He got that pitch a little higher than he wanted it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Carlton is off the hook. He can't lose today. Ruthven cannot win today. Frazier cannot get a save. It comes down to Lee Smith. He no longer can get a save, but he could win the game. A bouncing ball. Durham, Smith, out of the inning. 1 run, 1 hit. And that by Samuel. No errors. Holland who was your guest on the pregame show, comes in again.
He threw 2 2/3 yesterday, and they asked him before the game if he could go. He said, of course I can go. You get in a situation, give me the ball. That's been his credo the last couple of years. There you take a look at Sisto Lascano. He's gone into right field. Holland is 5-5, 244 in run average, making his 50th appearance. He's finished 45 with 22 saves, only 54 hits in 77 in the third inning. 48 strikeouts, 23 bases on balls. The strikeouts are down this year. Holland says he's throwing equally as hard as last year, but the statistics wouldn't bear that out.
Kiko Garcia now playing short, and Holland's first pitch is right in there for a strike. Henry Cotto leading it off. Lascano now playing right. Garcia now playing short. That evens the count, a ball and a strike. Ryan Sandberg, who started the Cubs comeback today with a home run leading off the fourth, will be next. Ball 2 inside. Holland has won 5, lost 5. He has permitted an uncommonly large total of home runs for a good relief pitcher, 9 already. 2 balls and a strike. Ball is low. 3-1. Sandberg on deck. Schmidt is guarding the line at third. He thought it was ball 4.
Garrett Gregg has been calling high strikes all day today. That one certainly looked like ball 4, and even Henry is shaking his head. Gregg has had some problems behind the plate.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The leadoff man here in the 9th. Line drive, base hit. Ringo for extra bases. They're on first. Racing for second to throw. Save! Cotto opens with a double to left. Listen to this crowd.
He gets a high fastball and not jammed. He gets the head of the bat on it, and then his wheels take over. The play in front of him, Vaughn Hayes, newly shifted to left field. Can't get it in time. The head first dive for 2.
Here is Sandberg now. With nobody out, the winning run at second base. Another thriller-diller here at Wrigley Field. The Cubs would take over first place with a victory.
The Philadelphia Phillies infield is in a little bit, not all the way in, but they're not going to give Sandberg a chance to do anything. They're going to put him on first base.
That'll bring up Gary Matthews.
Terry, I'd have Matthews lay the ball down and get the runners
Yeah.
to second and third, stay out of the double play possibility. Just make sure you bunt that ball and get it far enough away from the catcher so that he can't throw the ball to third.
Look how shallow they are in the outfield. All right, Sandberg is on with an intentional pass. The winning run at second base. Nobody out. Gary Matthews is 0 for 3. Lee Smith and Al Holland, the 2 pitchers of record in this game now.
Good base runners at first and second, both of them with a lot of speed. And Gary Matthews should be squaring around. This isn't a bunt for a base hit. You've got to get the ball down. If he misses the bunt, you really have to be alert for the pickoff at second base.
Let's see. Keith Moreland on deck. They'll undoubtedly walk him intentionally if Gary Matthews advances the runners. He doesn't act like he's going to bunt. Let's see. He is going to bunt. High fastball. Had the play on with Garcia coming over towards third. Mike Schmidt charging the plate. Matusak coming towards the plate. And Samuel, the second baseman, racing over towards first base. There's the panoramic view. Whoa, hey, bunch! Hey! They're going to get everybody's saying he bunted it in the air. Holland would have caught the ball. He slipped as he started to catch it, and it dropped behind him for a hit.
Harry, he had a play at third base, and he didn't see it. Mike Schmidt went back to the bag at third. If Holland catches this ball, or just if he has a presence of mind, he can still get Cotto, who was hung up. Now look, he's got Cotto easily, but he looks to second, and there's nobody there, leaving the bases loaded.
Oh, what a break we get.
If he catches this ball, it's a for sure double play, a possible triple play. But watch, he doesn't have the presence of mind to turn to third base. He looks to second.
He stumbled on the mound. And let's see what they're going to do now. The bases are loaded with nobody out, and Moreland will have a shot at winning this ball game. They're going to call the outfield in. This is Claude Osteen, their pitching coach out there. They're going to pull a Chuck Tanner infield, where they bring a fifth infielder. Now, this is quite a defense. It's conceivable on a line single, the fifth infielder can turn it into a triple play. There you get a look into the Cub dugout. Jim Fry.
He wants everybody to shorten their leads. That's what he's telling them. He doesn't want to take the big lead. Make sure you don't get picked off. You want to give Keith Moreland a chance to swing the bat.
Okay, what a thrilling ball game. Von Hayes went in for his infielder's glove because he's going to be playing the infield. They got only two outfielders. Show them the picture, Artie. There's the fifth infielder, but the outfield. There you see him. This crowd is on its feet, as you might imagine. Al Holland. The first pitch. Fouled it out of play. He had a good pitch to drive. He just didn't get it.
Only one thing on Al Holland's mind, that's strikeout.
Yeah.
Only one thing on Keith Moreland's mind, it's game-winning RBI number 4.
1 strike to nothing. Moreland waiting, having a little trouble with the picture.
Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties with the picture portion of our broadcast.
The bases are loaded. Nobody is out. Now we're back with the picture. There's the winning run, Henry Cotto.
With an infielder by every base runner, including the man at second, that's what Jim Fry was telling his base runners. Stay close.
There's no left fielder really and no right fielder really. There's in-between fielders. Fouled it back. He was trying to go to right field where there is no defense. There you get a look at the picture. See, there's no right fielder. Keith Moreland. Jody Davis up next. This is the key man. They could still get out of the inning with a double play if they retire Moreland. 4-4 tie. Boy, what games these clubs have. What games the Cubs have no matter who they play. Boy, this is the most thrilling place in the world to be. Wrigley Field, Chicago. 1-2 the count. Struck him out. Boy, give Holland credit. He got what he had to get. Here's Jody Davis now. Let's see what the infield's going to do.
You can look at the face of Al Holland. He looks like he's on a Sunday afternoon picnic. He looks like he encounters this situation every day of the week.
Now, Von Hayes is standing still behind second base. See, they could go for the double play with Hayes as the middle man.
A single up the middle becomes a double play. Jody Davis needs a fly ball.
Here's Al Holland getting ready. The pitch. Swung at a high fastball. He was swinging for a home run. He just wants to make contact. Al Holland has gone in a high gear. He's throwing heat. And won the count. There's a line drive caught. Here's a man trying to score the third. The Cubs are in first place. The Cubs they're going to claim he went too soon. They say no. No, he says they're claiming the Cotto left too early.
They're asking the wrong man.
Out.
It's Eric Gregg's call. They were asking Lee Wire. He went out to see the catch, and now Al Holland is infuriated.
So the Cubs are in first place. Jody Davis drives in the winner on a low line drive, well hit. But right at the defense with Maddox making a fine play. The Cubs have taken over first place. Here it is again. Now watch it. The ball is hit hard.
Henry Cotto plays it well. He goes back to the bag as Maddox is coming over to make the play. The throw is well off target. But you can see he didn't leave early. The Cubs win.
Hey, boy, oh boy, what a thrilling ball game. And the Cubs have taken over first place in the National League East. We'll be back with the totals in a moment. They're in first place by a half a game over the Mets. And what a thrilling ball game this one's been. But then why should this be any different than every other game? Yesterday, the Phillies came back melodramatically to tie it and then to win it in extra innings. The Cubs allowed them to tie it in the ninth, but they weren't going to go in the extra innings. They didn't want to see Juan Samuel again, so they wanted it their half of the ninth.
Well, Harry, the Phillies let a little of the air out of the Cubs' sails in the ninth inning, but they came roaring right back against Al Holland, who won yesterday's game and lost today's game. I'll tell you what, Jody Davis had a tough day today, but when it came down to the ninth inning, Jody Davis came up with game-winning hit number 6, and it couldn't have come at a better time because watch this one. He crushes a low fastball, and with only 2 outfielders, one of them's got to be standing right in front of this.
Well, they had the right man who could cover ground in Gary Maddox, but the throw was off the beam. Look at Don Zimmer. Did you have a shot with another angle where you could better determine whether Cotto left too soon or not, Arnie? It seemed to me that he timed that perfectly, that he got away just as the ball hit Gary Maddox's glove. I tell you, every time I see that defense, and you don't see it too often, Chuck Tanner's the only other guy this year we've seen use it, the more you realize that it is quite a defense because it gives you that fifth infielder. Had Jody hit a ground ball to anybody, even with the infield partly in, they still have that center fielder. Actually, the fifth infielder, technically he was the left fielder, but he's playing in the center of the diamond behind second base. But Von Hayes would have been in position to take a throw and relay to first.
Could you explain that again?
Well, you see, Von Hayes was standing on second base. And if the ball was hit to any other infielder, he didn't have to worry about who's going to get over to cover. They knew that Von Hayes would be there to be the middleman on the double play. But fortunately, Jody Davis hit a low line drive and hit it hard. And all's well that ends well, and the good guys are in first place.
And credit Henry Cotto, Harry, because he broke off the bag, which was his instinct when he saw the line drive. But he came back to third base when he saw Gary Maddox going to make the play. And fortunately, Maddox's momentum toward the line took the throw off the mark. It wasn't even close.
All right, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Montreal will be here.
Oh, it's going to be a big one. I'll be here.
Okay, here are the totals. 5 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Chicago Cubs. The winner is Lee Smith. He now has won 6 and lost 4. For the Philadelphia Phillies, it's 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. Their loser is their star relief pitcher, Al Holland, who now has won 5 and lost 6. The game-winning RBI for Jody Davis was his 6th of the year. The Chicago Cubs, who were 4.5 games out last Saturday, are now in first place by half a game, which means that they have gained 5 games since last Saturday. Ron Say, who played a stellar role in this victory, is going to be our guest on the 10th inning show. Now with Steve Stone, this is Harry Carey. I know you must enjoyed it if you're a Cub fan, no matter where you're watching. The final score, the Cubs winning another thriller, 5-4, to take over first place in the National League East. Don't go away now. Ron Say will be coming along in a moment. So long, everybody.